just mention something.
Yeah.
I did mention to you yesterday when you came around that we've been speaking to a few agents that all have also been out. And a good friend of ours, you know Pete, right?
What's his surname?
Johnson.
Oh, Pete Johnson. Yes, I have heard of him. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he also specializes in that area, and he says that he has a database of buyers that he's been working on, for a number of years in the area that are very loyal to him, and that he would also be able to work to bring through the property.
Okay.
So that's why we were kind of thinking of working with different agents that have their buyers that are also loyal to them.
Yeah.
How does that sit with you? Are you happy with that?
Yeah. Well, there's different avenues that you can kind of go down. And I think by the time that I've shown you what options are open to you in terms of, do you go on an open mandate? Do you go on a joint mandate? Do you list with a friend and somebody that you think is good? Do you list on an exclusive mandate? I think probably in about 20 minutes time, you'll have all of those answers, and then you can kind of make a choice as to what you want to do from there. And whatever is most comfortable with you, that's what we kind of go with. So what my job here is to show you what the statistics are, what we can do for you, what my strategy is. And if you think it's great, then you can go for it. If you think, well, I don't like it, then you don't have to do it. You can do what you feel most comfortable with.
Right.
All right.
Let's look at that.
Perfect. So the interesting fact is your house.
Just give us the price, Mike.
Yeah, that's what I've got now. I've got the price coming for you. So I'll show you everything. Now, what I did take into consideration, in line with the statistics here, it is actually so true how this works. So if this column here is the price in terms of rands, and let's say, for example, market value is here, what I do know, and on every single report that I pull out, the graph looks very similar to this. If this is your buyer inquiry here, this is your weeks on the market. Your buyer inquiry in the first 4 weeks is at its maximum. So if you've gone and you've looked for houses, what are maybe some of the websites that you would have looked at yourself?
Yeah, sure. We've looked at private property, Property 24.
IO.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of stuff on Facebook.
Yes.
We've even Googled a few agencies.
Okay. So what you've probably done, and what a lot of people do, even if you don't do it, is that there's alerts that come up. So when a new property comes on the market, sends an alert to the phone.
I've heard of that.
Yes, absolutely. What we also do, which I'll show you, is we'll also do very similar to what Pete does, is you've got a database of buyers that you mail out to the database of buyers. There's people that are looking on the internet, there's people looking in the press marketing, all different avenues. So in the first 4 weeks is generally when you'll see them, and they'll see the property, and then they come through. After those initial 4 weeks, look what happens to the amount of buyer inquiry as the weeks go by.
Okay.
This is a typical graph on any property. So what happens normally, and this is again why I spent the time doing the research, is if market value is here, in the first 4 weeks, we will attract all of these buyers here. But what normally happens, and even as agents, when we list our own property, the natural thing is, in the initial period, we try and start a little bit higher because we want to think, well, if there's an additional amount out there, then I really, really want it. So what normally happens is we list it at maybe 15% above market value. First 4 weeks, we get buyers through the door, buyers through the door, buyers through the door, and maybe then there's no offers, and we think, well, maybe the price is too high. After 4 or 5 weeks, we bring the price down. 6, 7 weeks, we bring the price down. 10 weeks, we bring the price down. 11 weeks, we bring the price down. And eventually it sells. But what happens is that initial 4-week period, the right buyers don't come through. So now all we're dealing with is this trickle flow of new buyers, which affects the price, and which is why you end up with 130 days on the market, a drop of 7.5% instead of a drop of 2.1%. We've got to be in what we call the selling zone early on. So if we're more than, say, 7.5% over market value, the property will sit on the market. It might end up taking 130 days, like the average of everybody that's on the market to sell, and you end up selling for less than if you put it on at the beginning of the process at the right value. That's what all the statistics show. So that's why we do our homework. We don't give you a price on the initial one. And you can see saves on average 5.4% for our clients in terms of what they end up with in their pocket.
Okay.
Massive difference. Yeah. So your house, beautiful, beautiful home.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I've had a look.
This Lisa's design.
Well done, Lisa. Looks beautiful. Nicely furnished, I must say. Okay, so this was the printout of some of the sales that have happened round about. This is what you had in your goodie bag, so to speak. Now, what I've tried to do, because addresses sometimes they don't necessarily help, but there's maybe a synopsis of the property would. So I've got a synopsis here of some of the properties that have sold, and I've also got a synopsis of some of the properties that are on the market. So from the plans you gave me, the house is showing at 250 square meters, there or thereabouts, actually 251 square meters.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, very, very nice and up together, close to the schools. It's got a lot going for it.
Cool.
So I've tried to pick as many similar properties as I can. Obviously, it's not an exact science because not every single house in your street is the same.
Of course, yeah.
But I think when you have a look at this, you'll see the kind of guide that's there. This property here, 2 roads away from you, it's got an additional bedroom, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, double garage. The property here is listed at 2.1 million.
Wow.
It isn't as neat as yours.
Yeah.
It probably needs somewhere in the region of about 150,000 spent on it to get it up to your kind of standard.
Yeah, and it's definitely not in the location of ours with the views that we have.
Yeah, it's 2 streets away. This one, interestingly, although you don't necessarily see it on the picture, you do look out across. You actually do have a very nice sea view from the entertainment area.
Really?
Yeah, so with this one, you do have a sea view. The house size is a bit smaller than yours, although you've got the additional bedroom, and it needs 150,000 rand. So we know that we're going to get you a little bit more than this property, okay? But look at the days that one's on the market so far, 121 days.
Has it been on the market since the beginning at 2.1, or have they been lowering their price? Do you know?
That one was on originally at 2150. Then they brought it down to 2.1 about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah. This property here, lovely views again. This one is actually in a similar condition to yours, but it is a bit smaller, this one. This one's about 220 square meters as well. List price at 2.1. It's been on the market for 115 days. The only slight negative with this one is the road that it's on, although it's a couple of roads away from yours, is a little bit busier. It's not a main road by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a little bit busier. I don't know if you know Abelia Street, just that one.
Yep. That's
A few doors away from
you. Yeah, we
you.
walk there.
Okay. The other thing with this one is not quite as nice an entertainment area as you've got. The patio is not quite as big, so yours would appeal in terms of that. This one here, it's been on the market for just 5 days, this one. There's actually 2 offers on it already.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
No. Lovely house, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Slight negative with it, only a single garage, whereas yours has got a double garage. Listed at 1995. All the offers that are coming in on it at the moment are at 1995. Quite interesting. Okay, so that's a little bit that if somebody was looking in your area, these are 3 of the properties that they will currently be able to come across and be able to have a look at.
Well, that's far removed from what we were hoping to get for our property.
Yes, absolutely. But
we have been looking around at show houses.
Yes.
And some other properties that are not included in this are also priced slightly higher.
yes. So at the moment, in your area, there's 24 homes that are for sale. You will find properties that are listed for 400,000-500,000 more than what these particular ones are. But what I've done is I've taken the most competitive homes, because obviously when buyers are looking, they're not looking at the most expensive, they're looking at the most competitive. And that's why, like I said to you, there's some houses that are on the market for 2 or 3 years, is because purely based on the fact that they're not market related. And that's why I've picked the best ones rather than all the other ones that you often see every single week on a show house because they're not moving.
Okay.
But there is a few that I've sold round and about recently that will give you a really, really good idea. So I had a look in the price range of the 2.5, similar to where we are at the moment. This was one that sold. Now, this property is 320 square meters.
320.
320. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, double garage, spectacular view. You look out across the entire bay. Very similar in terms of condition of yours. Also beautifully done, immaculate, just been renovated. Great, great location, quiet cul-de-sac. Listed at 2,495. Sale price 2,450. This one sold in 12 days.
Did you sell that, Mike?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So 2,495, list price, sold at 2,450, 320 square meters, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms.
Sure.
Another couple that have sold.
I think our house is much nicer than this one, though.
Maybe a bit more appealing, but we have to consider that it's what offers inside as well.
Yeah.
I think our street appeal is much nicer than that.
Okay. So I had a good look in this house, like the buyers would. It is beautiful inside. Absolutely beautiful. Really is as nicely done. I mean, there's obviously somebody, I don't know if you've got a twin sister that's good at interior decorating, but very similarly finished inside. Beautiful. This particular property here, 4 streets away from yours. Land size is quite big, 1,276 squares. Similar size home to yours. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, double garage. Listed at 2.1. That one sold for 2 million.
When did that sell?
This one sold 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago.
Yeah. So
the market has been picking up, hasn't it?
You know, we look at the averages very much indeed. There's been more sales that have been happening, but that's because the sellers have been adjusting their price. So when you look at the statistics in terms of what the sales value is, the actual average sales price hasn't increased, but the number of sales have increased because the sellers are starting to realize that they've got to adjust their prices accordingly. So what's been happening, as you knew maybe a month or 2 ago, there weren't as many sales because the sellers' expectations were here. The buyers' expectations of what they wanted to buy was here. And it's only when the price started to go down and the buyers' expectations and the sellers' expectations got close that you've suddenly seen a few sales. And that's why I've also looked at properties that are for sale as well as the sold, just to see, is there competition out there or isn't it? And that's the competition that we mentioned earlier.